All right, race fans, are you guys ready for bumper boats at 65 miles an hour? Because we've got the finals presented by Diamond Sea Rentals in the Texas Tri-Hull class. Will the 17 of Neil Marsh be able to cap off an unbelievable 2022 season with a victory here in the Texas Tri-Hulls class as he narrowly holds on to that inside of row one pole position here in the Texas Tri-Hull class? Let's take a look at our lineup here for the main event. On the inside of row one, your pole sitter and season points leader, the dude out of Hemlock, Michigan, the number 17, Neil Marsh. On the outside of row two, out of Richmond, Texas, the young gun, the number 13, Grant Schubert. On the inside of row two, one part of the Rinker Boat World Racing Team, the number 52, Mason Rinker. On the outside of row two, the 33 of John Ottinger, the Bay City, Texas native. Inside of row three, the number 93 of J.B. Jensen. In that fifth position, in sixth, outside of row three, the number 10 of Scary, Jerry Rinker. On the inside of row four, coming seventh off the start pontoon, the 88 of Josh Wells. On the outside of row four, teammate, the number 99 of Devin Brown. On the inside of row five, the 63 of Aaron Green. On the outside of row five, the 29 of Jared Jensen. And our only, the last boat there, he made it out for the final, the 42 of Wyatt Zeller. Let's crown a champion here in the Diamond Sea Rentals Texas Tri-Hull Championship here at Lake Havasu Classic 2022. He drops the green flag, and there they go. The 13 is Schubert and the 17 of Marsh side by side. What's going to happen down into turn one? Are they going to leave each other room? Ooh, the 17 of Marsh snaps it tight to the inside. What a great move there by the pro out of Hemlock, Michigan, as he knew he needed to hammer it tight because the 13 of Schubert was not going to give him any room. And they are still fighting hard there, nose to tail. Now Schubert goes down to the inside. We got a move here. Will the 13 of Schubert be able to hold him off? He gets down, nose into the inside, and he does able to get by the 17 of Neil Marsh as they're still nose to tail. Now here comes Marsh. It's back and forth, side by side here in the main event in Texas Tri-Hulls. The 13 of Schubert now goes wide to the outside, and now the 17 of Marsh ducks underneath. It's just a cat and mouse game back and forth between the top two competitors here into the Texas Tri-Hull division of the Formula One Powerboat Championships. Marsh on the inside now. He's going to have to go tight to the inside. The 13 of Schubert now playing a little game of cat and mouse. Oh, boom, he hammers the 17 of Marsh. Says, get out of my way, dude. As they come down the front straightaway, they are banging and hammering these Texas Tri-Hulls as they fight for that top spot here at Hardware at the final race of the 2022 season, brought to you by Diamond Sea Rentals here at the Anderson Toyota Lake Havasu Classic. We look back at third. We got a battle between the 33 of John Ottinger and the 52 of Mason Rinker. As we take a look at the rest of the competitors, all sandwiched up down the back straightaway. There's the 33 of Ottinger sitting in third, but the 13 of Schubert's able to get by the 17 of Marsh. Now Marsh works up the inside. There's the 33 of Ottinger fighting for third position as he started to pull away from the 52 of Mason Rinker. And now he's trying to catch up to these top two boats. Could we have a three-boat battle wadded up in the final laps of this main event here? 18 laps remaining in this main event, a lot longer than those qualifying heats. It's going to make for a doozy here on the shores of Lake Havasu. She's getting rough and tumble and bouncing all over. The water's getting choppy, and it's going to make for a doozy here in the main event of Texas Tri-Hulls. The 17 of Neil Marsh now falling a few boat lengths behind our leader. The 13 of Grant Schubert, the young gun out of Richmond, Texas, has really got it dialed in. He's gotten better every race here this weekend. They had a great game of cat and mouse for the first few laps. The 13 of Schubert. Oh, look out there, Mason Rinker almost goes over the 52, coming into screen now. Almost blew it over down the front straightaway as he's trying to catch the 33 of Ottinger for that final spot on the podium. And there's the 99 of Brown, the 88 of Wells, the 10 of Jerry Rinker, the 63 of Aaron Green, all wadded together down there on the back straightaway, pushing hard, trying to jockey for points, move themselves up one spot, hopefully or two, in the season series standings. The 17 of Neil Marsh pushing hard, but falling back just a bit. He's got to be cognizant of the 33 of John Ottinger, who's really starting to close up. as they push hard. There's the 29 of Jared Jensen getting it back on the water. There's the 33 of Ottinger. He started to close that gap down the front stretch, but not a very good turn sequence down at the south end of the course. It's got him back a little bit further away from the 17 of Marsh than he'd like. He has to ride his outside hip there, try to find some of that clean water. He now turns it down to the inside, but the 17 of Marsh is starting to pull away from the 33 of Ottinger. Those top three boats about as spaced out as you're ever going to see in the Texas Tri-Hull class. There's our leader, the 13 of Grant Schubert. He's off out of turn number 1 now, heading down the back straightaway. The 17 of Marsh trying feverishly to do anything he can to catch the young heart, the young gun out of Richmond, Texas, running for JH Performance Boats and Hertz Audio. As the 17 of Marsh now makes it out of the north end of the course, pushing hard now. The 13 of Schubert coming across the start-finish line, logging another lap with 14 to go. 6 down, 14 remain in this main event in the Texas Tri-Hull class. There's the 13 of Schubert starting to get into some of those lap traffic, and that's where things are going to get very interesting for our top boats here in Texas Tri-Hulls as they start to get into some of those back markers. Who is going to navigate them the best, and that could mean the difference between a first and a second, or a first and an eighth here, depending on how badly things go in the corners for you, because things can change in an instant here in the Texas Tri-Hull class. As the 13 of Grant Schubert able to get by the 63 of Aaron Green, the rookie here in 2022, and put a boat between him and the 17 of Marsh. Now Green pulls way wide to the outside, saying, I'm getting out of this battle. I have no part of it, and I do not want to be the guy that causes some sort of accident between our top two drivers in the final event of the 2022 calendar season. As they continue to push hard, the 13 of Schubert now coming off the north end of the course, lining up, going wide to the outside, trying to just keep those RPMs up. He's got clean water. He knows he just needs to lay down fast lap times and get in and out of the corner quick. He's now eyeing up the 42 of Wyatt Zeller. There's the 88 of Josh Wells and the 10 of Jerry Rinker, as they're trying to catch up to the 99 of Devin Brown, who sits in 5th position. In 4th is the 52 of Mason Rinker. There's the 5th position, the 88 of Josh Wells, pulling away from the 10 of Jerry Rinker. But there's our leader now. Back on the other end of the course, the 13 of Schubert, liking to go wide to the outside there as this water continues to get rough, and they're really starting to bounce around. The 13 of Schubert is all up into the business of some of these back markers here pretty soon, and that's going to make it interesting, and that may be the one and only opportunity the 17 of Neil Marsh has to make up some ground on this young man. He's a 3rd-generation powerboat racer. You very well may see him behind the wheel of a Formula One machine come 2023. He's won Formula Lights titles, he's won Tri-Hull titles, and he's a senior in high school. That's the crazy thing. The kid's a senior in high school, but he's been racing boats since he could sit in the seat. They had him, I think, behind the wheel in diapers, his parents did. His father, John Schubert, is, one of the integral pieces of the Formula One Powerboat Championship. So is his brother, so is his father, Bob Schubert, both racers as well. So 3rd generation of the Schubert family, just doing what Schuberts do and being nut jobs out on the water as he continues to push hard. There's the 33 of Ottinger, has really started to pull away from the rest of the field as far as that podium, right, is concerned. He's still sitting in 3rd, but he's about a straightaway back from our leader, the 13 of Grant Schubert. But I tell you, nobody's got an answer for that young man. There's the 33 of Ottinger, who continues to push hard, but you can see our leader, the 13 of Grant Schubert, he's already down the back straightaway, and not even the 17 of Neil Marsh can figure out how to track down this young man. We've now down to 8 laps remaining, so we're over the halfway point here in this 20-lap main event of the Texas Tri-Hull division of the Formula One Powerboat Championships. The Texas Tri-Hull division presented by Diamond Sea Rentals. They've got short-term rentals on the beautiful Frio River in Concan, Texas. The Frio River, the cleanest and clearest river in all of Texas. All private land on either side. What a beautiful stretch of property they got there in Concan. The 13 of Schubert continuing to push hard as he's coming out of turn 1, now on the south end of the course, now heading back north to turn 2. Now you notice here come more of those back markers. 7 laps to go. This could be tricky. He cannot afford to get caught up in a corner with one of these back markers and wad it all up and allow the 17 of Neil Marsh to close that gap. Because if the 17 of Neil Marsh gets by the 13 of Schubert, I don't know if Schubert can recover from that, just because of how rough the water is out there. It gets so churned up with these Texas Tri-Hulls. With the 13 of Schubert working his butt off to try to bring home some more hardware to Richmond, Texas. He's a decorated driver in Tri-Hulls. If he does move out of Tri-Hull next year, it's kind of hard to run 3 classes. It very well may be some happy people so they don't have to continue to look at the back end of that 13 JH performance machine. Now here he's getting real close to some of these back markers. That's going to slow it way down. That's what the 17 of Neil Marsh wants. As the 13 of Schubert now makes it out of the corner, the 17 of Neil Marsh much easier navigates that turn and starts to close the gap a little bit, but we've only got 5 laps remaining. It's all going to matter about what happens here in these turns as they try to get through the back markers. The 13 of Schubert now to the inside, but he's got a couple of boats, the 52 of Mason Rinker, the 93 of JB Jensen, and the 29 of Jared Jensen right in front of him. And he has to pass these guys on the straightaway. He cannot afford to pass them in the corner, or it could spell disaster for the young man out of Richmond, Texas, as he's now lining up next to the 93 of JB Jensen. That gap is starting to close now. You can see it's only 2.89 seconds between the 17 of Neil Marsh and the 13 of Grant Schubert. 2.89 seconds separate first and second. And that gap is starting to close because it's taking the 13 of Schubert some time to get by these back markers. Now he's trying to get by the 52 of Mason Rinker, who has fallen all the way back to 8th after starting 3rd in this main event. Clearly not the outcome he was hoping for, but he continues to push hard, as all these professionals do here in the Texas Tri-Hull class. There's the 13 of Schubert. He was able to wait till after the turn. Smart move, even to lay off a little bit so you don't have to pass a guy in a corner. That's a veteran move by a young man who knows how to wheel a Texas Tri-Hull. 3 laps remain here in this main event. Texas Tri-Hull, who's going to be the champion? Right now it's sitting like this. Your leader is the 13 of Grant Schubert. In second place, it's the 17 of Neil Marsh. And rounding out the podium, the 33 of John Ottinger, with Devin Brown closing the gap on the 33 of Ottinger. But I don't know if he's going to have enough time either. There's so little laps remaining. Time is running out. Who's going to be our champion here in Texas Tri-Hull? Will the 13 of Grant Schubert, after getting by the 17 of Neil Marsh on a battle for the first 2 laps, be able to run this thing all the way to victory? Or will the 17 of Neil Marsh, who now is catching the 52 of Mason Rinker in the corner, that's not what he wanted, slides wide to the outside, and there's the white flag. 1 lap remains. Go fast, turn left, just 4 more times to the young man out of Richmond, Texas. Can he pull off the win here in the Texas Tri-Hull division? With the second place finish, can the 17 of Neil Marsh put a cherry on top of that season championship here in Texas Tri-Hull? I know that was his goal coming into the weekend. He would have loved to win, but he wanted to make sure he won that series championship, pushing hard down the back straightaway. There's the 17 of Marsh. Just does not have an answer for our leader, the 13 of Grant Schubert, as he comes across the start-finish line out of turn number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion in Texas Tri-Hull out of Richmond, Texas, number 13, Grant Schubert. And in second place, out of Hemlock, Michigan, the dude and your 2022 Texas Tri-Hull Series champion, Mr. Neil Marsh. And rounding out the top 3 with a hard-fought podium finish, out of Bay City, Texas, the number 33 of John Ottinger. Well, that was about the cleanest Tri-Hull race I've ever seen. I didn't expect it to get that clean. I figured somebody'd wad something up at some point and stack 3-4 boats in a corner like we saw in qualifying. But a great battle between the 17 of Neil Marsh and the 13 of Grant Schubert. We knew it was going to be a battle. They went back and forth for 3 or 4 laps with cat and mouse games in the corner. And the trump card was laid down by the young man out of Richmond. And he was able to finally get by the 17 of Marsh and then just hammered that foot to the floor and ran that thing all the way to victory here in the Texas Tri-Hull class. There we go, checkered flag in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear you put your hands together and give a big round of applause. Your winner of the Diamond Z Reynolds Texas Tri-Hulls Championship here at the Anderson Toyota Lake Havasu Classic in 2022, number 13, Grant Schubert. He's ripping down to the south end of the course, give everybody on the docks their shot at checking out what a champion looks like. And boy, the pedigree this kid has is second to none. I mean, he understands so well what is about to happen, right? If this driver does this, then I can expect this after it. The ability to do that at 17 years old is astonishing. We got guys out here that have been racing 20, 30 years, and they don't pick up on it as well as he does. And it's just, he's got a knack for it. I think when you spend your entire life around racing, you know, all your relatives, your close relatives, your dad, they all race. So you always get to see things through their eyes. And I think just the subconsciously that getting pounded into your psyche because it's all you see and all you see, you start to think that way. And he was able to do that here today. What a great run for the number 13 at Grant Schubert. And hopefully we're going to have a chance here to chat with the young man as he makes his way down to the start-finish line. Boy, I tell you, man, that had to have been a fun run, especially those first few laps. You and Neil were playing a huge game of cat and mouse in every single corner.
Oh, yeah. Neil's a great competitor. He's a good racer. He doesn't ever, like, chicken out or not want to race or bump and hit. That's what these things are meant for, and he does it.
Yeah, you guys were – it seemed like the person in front would go wide. The person in second would then dive underneath and just completely reposition themselves, and you had to just keep going back and forth. What ultimately allowed you to finally get clear of the 17 of Marsh and run that thing to the checkered flag?
Well, like you were saying, we'd go wide and then go in, so I just stayed in and then in again, so we had to go wide, and they gave me that clean water, and I just ran away with it.
There you go. It's interesting, the chess matches that you have to play with the other drivers out there, and sometimes your move works, sometimes your move gets checkmated. Well, your move worked here, and boy, it's got to feel good to bring some hardware back home to Richmond. You seem to collect a lot of hardware at this place, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I won tri-hole here last year. I got 2/3 and 45, so I raced here twice and got 4 trophies, so I would agree.
Right on, and hey, you know what? It's always good going back-to-back. Am I right?
Yeah, I love it.
Well, we'll let you get back up there and enjoy it. You're done for the day, 2 classes. You can finally relax on the weekend. Go back, enjoy that hard-fought hardware. I think you might going to end up finishing second in the series standings. Hats off to the 17 of Neil Marsh. He ran well all season long, but he couldn't beat you today. You go back-to-back here in Lake Havasu. Enjoy it, and maybe we'll see you back next year for the three-peat.
Yes, sir. Thank you.